Ladies and gentlemen, drivers, gig workers, and everyone in between, welcome to This Week in Rideshare podcast. I am your host, Jared Hoffa. It is Friday, September 20th, and this week, Uber introduces new features, a looming crisis for drivers, and Waymo is in talks with Hyundai. Legal Rideshare breaks it down. And from Legal Rideshare, I'm joined by the co-founder and lead attorney, Bryant Greening. Bryant, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Jared. What a week. What a week. Great to be back.
It is. It was a little struggle there doing this back in Pennsylvania, but we're back. I'm back to the home base, which is good. It's good for us.
You are. The background looks good. We're ready to go strong.
We are. And man, we got some interesting stories this week, especially the last one, but we'll jump into the first story here about Uber verifying riders. So Uber is giving drivers some peace of mind, and this is from The Verge, and they reported, quote, all Uber customers will have their personal information, like their name and phone number, cross-checked against third-party databases to make sure there aren't any potential flags. In addition, riders can opt to upload their government-issued ID to the Uber app to further verify their identity. Once they are verified, customers will have a special badge attached to their account that will be visible to drivers before they accept trip requests. Uber began testing this in a number of cities earlier this year and was satisfied with the results. So, Bryant, it looks like they're saying, all right, we're pulling this out all over the country.
Hallelujah. This is a long time coming. We have been asking for safety features like this for years. Uber has taken great lengths to try to verify drivers for almost its entire existence, making sure that drivers have background checks, making sure that they are who they say they are, trying to crack down on sharing accounts. All that is for the safety of the passenger. Well, now it's time to reciprocate a little bit. It's time to ensure that the passengers go through similar checks, are verified, can be tied to real people with real contact information, real payment methods. And it's so important for two reasons. One, we're looking for red flags, things that stand out that maybe a passenger shouldn't be on the app to begin with. But two, it serves as a deterrent for potential bad actors. If passengers can't put on fake names, can't be Mickey Mouse or whatever other name they want to throw into the account, and need to put a real verifiable identity, they are far less likely to act badly in the vehicles. They're far less likely to harass the drivers, to commit crimes, because it can be tied back to them. It's no longer anonymous. This has been it should have been such a priority for the companies for a long time. I'm just very thankful that we're at the point where there's now some verification, now some accountability. I would expect that harassment and crimes against drivers will drop. The system's not perfect. It's not ever going to be perfect, but this is a step closer to it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too, because it even says in this article, the majority of riders in these pilot markets got verified, and those were, quote, tend to give drivers 5 stars more often. And on top of that, riders who are verified often get fewer serious complaints from drivers. So again, like you said, I think there'll be less complaints, less issues. There's also more credibility on the line now because, like you said, you can't have a fake name. This is great for everyone, and it's a long time coming, but it's here. Took some time.
And I think that passengers, they don't mind this extra step. They don't mind that they're going to be verified because the people that are there to do good and not cause problems, they want a safe experience for everyone as well. So if someone is offended by this, if someone says, well, I don't want my background check, or I guess they're not doing background checks, I don't want my identity verified, or I'm not choosing to upload my ID, or whatever objection they may have. Well, using rideshare is not an absolute right, and if you have to be verified to have the privilege of using the app, then maybe that's who we should be catering to. I want to make sure that safety is at the forefront. I want to make sure that safe drivers are being paired with safe passengers. And when there's verification on both sides, the overall community is going to be better. So this is just a win-win-win-win-win. There is zero downside that I can see.
Right. No, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. We'll head to the second story here. A looming insurance crisis could affect tens of thousands of drivers. This is from the New York Times. They wrote the largest insurer of taxis and Ubers in New York City is on the verge of a financial collapse that could force thousands of cars out of service and lead to higher costs for drivers and passengers. So this is pretty interesting. It says this insurance company, American Transit Insurance Company, provides coverage for about 74,000 for-hire vehicles in the city. It turns out that they don't have enough money in reserve to pay out these claims despite years of collecting premiums on these policies. Instead, the companies managed to continue operating by using money coming in from new premiums, basically leaving new customers hanging if they get into an accident. This is pretty crazy.
It is. The insurance industry is really nuts, and you see that they're really struggling. Industry-wide, the insurance companies are struggling where there's more claims coming in than money that they have, and a lot of that I think is due to just not doing what they need to do to make sure that they've got a steady and solid business. The foundation of the insurance companies has been weak for a long time, and we're starting to see the repercussions. I deal with a lot of people who have fleets and who deal with insurance companies like this, and I can tell you that the experience has been negative. Pretty much every person I've talked to, it's hard to find insurance to cover commercial vehicles like Uber and Lyft fleets or taxis. When there are claims, the insurance companies claw and try to make the process as difficult as they can to minimize the claims that they pay out. So that seeing that one of these big taxi insurers is about to collapse is not really surprising to me. Hopefully, it serves as a wake-up call for the rest of the industry. Hopefully, there's some other insurers that are willing to step in because this is a huge market. But there needs to be a shakeup here. The system has been failing for a long time. Everybody thinks that insurance companies are often too big to fail. Well, we're seeing right now that that's not the case. So I can't really speak to what's going to happen, or hopefully people are made whole. I know in Illinois there's a certain level of protection through the state if an insurance company becomes unable to pay out its claims. Hopefully that's also true in New York. But I just see this as a big picture story. Like the insurance industry needs a shakeup, and this is a warning call for all.
Yeah, I mean the fact that, as I just mentioned, that they really didn't even, they were burning so much cash that basically people who were paying in their older customers were pretty much uninsured or underinsured, even though they're paying what they're supposed to. I mean, just unbelievable. And it's just like you said, it's time for a shakeup and to clean this up. I mean, that's a disaster. So, we'll see. Nothing is too big to fail, as we saw in the past. Hopefully this gets cleaned up. But our final story here, Waymo is looking at Hyundai to build its cars. This is from Reuters. They reported the officials at Waymo and Hyundai have met more than 3 times to discuss a plan to use Hyundai's iconic 5 electric vehicles for Waymo's 6th generation of self-driving technology. This came because President Joe Biden's administration last week locked in steep tariff hikes on Chinese imports. So it looks like Waymo, again, is just kind of expanding and looking for new opportunities.
Waymo is here. We talk about this every week, that autonomous vehicles and robo-taxis are the future. Waymo seems to be super aggressive in terms of the vehicles that it's putting on the road. It seems to be making partnerships all around. And, I wouldn't be surprised if very soon we're all getting in Waymos instead of Ubers, or, whatever other rideshare you currently use. I think Waymo is predicting the future, trying to develop the future, and making the future now, even if, perhaps the technology is not quite ready for it to be here.
Yeah, it really felt like a year ago, Waymo was kind of this island, and they were doing their own stuff and testing in demo cities. But like when you see these articles like this, they're integrating with major companies, car manufacturers. They're already in major cities. Like you said, it is here. It feels like it happened overnight. It obviously hasn't, but there's been a major leap, I would say, over the last couple months to now where we are. And like, as you said, we're not going back. This is what's going to happen. This is the future. This is where it's going.
Well, and I think that these partnerships with the established car companies are really important for the future of autonomous vehicles. It's really hard to build a car. And we've seen companies pop up and fail when they try to compete with the big players. So by inserting this technology into a company that knows how to build a vehicle, that has the assembly lines to build the vehicles, I think it's going to go faster than it otherwise would. If Waymo was sitting here saying, we're going to make autonomous vehicles, we are going to, start our own car company, that's a much bigger task. That's a much more difficult task than developing the technology to make, what we know as vehicles now autonomous. So I think they're skipping a step that a lot of other companies have tried to undertake themselves, and perhaps that's helping them advance their business further with these smart strategic partnerships.
Yeah, I agree. I think and personally, I think it's a smart move, and it does moves the needle further faster as far as I'm concerned. So that is the stories this week. So before we head to the weekend, Brian, as always, I'll give you the final say.
Yeah, always want to remind everyone to contact Legal Rideshare immediately if you find yourself in an accident or injured on the job. Legal Rideshare is the first law firm in the United States that was entirely focused on Uber, Lyft, and other gig-related accident and injury claims. We help drivers, we help passengers. If you're injured, as a third party, we can assist you as well. If your situation at all involves rideshare, please don't hesitate to reach out. LegalRideshare.com is the best way to find all of our contact information and to get a consultation immediately.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. And as I like to say, that is the end of This Week in Rideshare. See you next week.